On our morning show get-together today, we have a couple of members of the Richland Area Chamber of Commerce Board. Craig Woodhouse is here, Noah Crocht as well. Noah representing Rockwell Automation. He is the plant manager there. And Craig Woodhouse, who is a businessman in the area as well. Good to see you today, Craig.
Good morning. Thanks for having us on this beautiful day.
The plan is to have you on once a month and kind of highlight some area businesses and industries and things that are going well in the community. And you've done that today, I think.
Well, yeah. You know, we're looking forward to this. We'll be here every of the fourth Monday of the month for the whole year. So thank you to you, Phil, and WRCO for having us on. And which is great because there's a lot going on with the chamber. Things change frequently. We have new initiatives that we're always working on, and then there's always events. And we want to highlight some of the business members as well and give them an opportunity to talk about what they do in the community.
Weather is changing, and I think you probably see that in the business community, don't you, where people are a little bit more smiling and coming out of their burrows and things like that?
Well, yeah, definitely downtown this weekend was, you could just feel it in the air. People were a little more excited to be out. Maybe we earned that after the week that we had last week with the cold weather, and it was a little quieter downtown. But this weekend was good. I just saw a lot of people out walking around, some of them without a coat on, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brave.
No, but the change of the season is it's a good time for us. We're always kind of working a season ahead. We're trying to plan for a season or two ahead. So, yeah, in January and February, we're thinking a lot about the spring and summer events, and we will definitely have an action-packed calendar.
You had a ribbon cutting ceremony a couple of weeks ago, did you not?
There was one, help me out, Noah. There was one. I wasn't there. It was one that I couldn't attend. That was just a short while ago. We do have one coming up on February 27th at the Richland Hospital for the community pharmacy that's opened up there. Before we leave today, I'll get the exact time, but I believe that's 5 o'clock. Is it? Okay, all right. We'll double check the time on that one. But that's something that we love to do. We love the ribbon cuttings. And it's just a good way to celebrate what's going on, and it's an opportunity for those businesses to get a little bit of exposure and get a chance to show what they've got going on. The ribbon cutting that we did recently was for the 80 German warehouse.
Right.
Yeah. Their Friday night. Forget what they're calling the space there.
They have a lounge.
It's kind of a lounge Friday night. The speakeasy.
The
speakeasy.
Yeah. I was able to enjoy that Friday night. It was a wonderful time.
Oh, yeah, good. I haven't been there yet to one of their Friday nights, but I will be, soon.
Good. Well, it's exciting for the chamber anytime you cut a ribbon, isn't it?
It is exciting. It's exciting because it's just having a business is tough. Any business of any size, and when you get to do a ribbon cutting, it is a nice way to celebrate with employees or staff or kind of everyone. And then again, just show the community that you're here, remind them that you're here, have a little fun with it. And we'll do pictures and everything like that. But I was in a business this weekend and noticed the $2 bill from the chamber that was up on the wall, and pointed that out to my daughter, and I said, I think I made that certificate for that one, and she was pretty impressed. But it's fun to see those things around in businesses, and
potentially more coming up this year in the area too. Right?
Yeah, there will be more. I'm sure there'll be more ribbon cuttings, and a ribbon cutting isn't only for a new business. It can be, celebrating an anniversary. It can be, celebrating a remodel of a space within a business, or some new feature. So there's a lot of, we can do ribbon cuttings for pretty much anything. For us, it's just a good excuse to get together and learn more about what that business is doing and share it, with the whole community.
I think we can kind of dovetail in a little bit, but I know you're really focused on downtown beautification this year too, and maybe some people brightening things up a little bit, right?
Yeah. There's been just a lot of change in the city of Richland Center here, and we've been for several years now, we've been doing the flower basket project, which are flower pots that we purchase from the Ithaca FFA and hang them and water them all season. And and that's one part of downtown beautification, and that certainly helps. But we want to take that a little bit further this year and maybe change that plan up a little bit, and kind of think more at that ground level, if you will. So rather than hanging baskets, we're thinking, what can we do right at the street level? And that might stay tuned, because we'll have some dates for events related to that soon. But it might be cleanup days. It might be helping with a flora or something outside of a business. Or there are planters downtown that were put up some years ago that could use a little TLC. So our team's ready and willing to help out in that cause. So we'll be talking with the city and Parks Department about what we can do to help out. Just to brighten things up a little bit. I'm
guessing you're open for suggestions too. If somebody sees something that they think maybe could use a little bit of help.
Absolutely. Reach out to us. On our website, gorcchamber.org. I think that's right. But it's our Richland Center Chamber. You can find that, pretty easily. But we've got a suggestion portal there where people can leave us a line about an event that's coming up or an initiative that they would like us to consider. Certainly, we accept those from any member of the public or anyone. So give us a suggestion about what you think we could do. We're busy, but we always like to hear from people and about what makes the most sense. We want to allocate the resources to things that really making sense, and so we kind of ask ourselves a couple questions. What kind of impact would this project have on the community as a whole? What are our strengths within our own team? What kind of skill sets do we have? And then how can we align the community need with our skill set and our strengths to really make a difference in a project or an activity we take on? So that's kind of how we go about it.
We talk a lot about businesses, but you got to tie in the industry as well, because that's a huge part of the business community, and that was part of your idea to bring Noah along here today.
It is. We're lucky in this town. We've got some great industries. We are a manufacturing town. If you look at the data, this Richland County has the second highest percentage of the take-home pay by residents are in manufacturing. So if we consider the food processing and then folks like Rockwell and Seats and others, that really is our economic base. And at the chamber, we're always well aware of that. We try to help in whatever way we can. Most of those industries and businesses are looking for employees, and they're there's we're kind of battling a workforce shortage right now. So whatever we can do, to make those, to help those businesses out. And I would just say that one of the things we can do is try to have the community conditions such that people want to live here. Mm-hmm. And we want to make the place, we know it's already a great place to live, but we want to make it even better. And when we do that is appealing. So when someone like Rockwell is recruiting employees, they come to a town, they want to see that it's a decent town and it's presentable and things are taken care of, and that there's it's a community of caring people. So quality of life is absolutely a way that we can have a positive effect on workforce development.
Noah, how long have you been a member of the chamber?
I think we've been on. Rockwell's been a member of the chamber for the past few years. I joined the board last year. Not quite a year in yet. Still figuring out how I can help Craig and the team out. But as Craig mentioned, it's really one of those things where, what's good for business is good for industry. And, if business is doing well, industry is doing well, the community as a whole is doing well. So, Rockwell is a longtime employer. Actually, the plant's been here for 54 years. And many of the listeners might actually call it Allen Bradley, mm-hmm. right? It has been a huge part of the community for a very long time. And we do have a lot of employees there, too, that have not quite been there for 54 years. We got a few that are close, but it's really great to see the impact that industry has had on the town, not just Rockwell and Allen Bradley, but the other larger employers here in town, and the growth that's happened over time with that. And that's something I always tell a lot of our employees when they're retiring is, the legacy they leave isn't just on the shop floor. It's out in the community, right? It's the growth of the town. It's the growth of the businesses. So yeah, I think it's all kind of intermeshed together with the community, business, and industry, and we're happy to be on the board and happy members of the chamber and continue to kind of push things forward.
How many do you employ at Rockwell?
It changes by the day. Right now, I'm going to use a round number. I'll say 300 here in Richland Center that we employ. We're looking to continue to grow, so we are hiring today. It's one of those where, I think business is starting to pick up and you're seeing, maybe some geopolitical changes that are driving changes in manufacturing strategy. And, ultimately, we're going to try to continue to grow as much as we can. And at this point, I think really the sky's the limit for industry here. We can get it as big as we can. There's work out there to be done.
There are a lot of bonuses that you offer, as many do. But I mean, what sets Rockwell apart? Would you say?
I mean, I feel like it's a softball one there, Phil. I mean, listen, it's not the bonuses, it's not the everything else. I'll start with the people. If you meet our team, you walk our shop floor. It's this feeling of family when you're there. You see it in the good deeds that our employees do, the fundraising for Grace, for the food pantry year over year. Rockwell's won the Feeding Families RC Style Award for our work with the food pantry, and you have this incredible sense of community and heart on our shop floor. So I'll start there. Like, that's where you feel the difference. Now, again, we are offering a $2,500 sign-on bonus. We do $2,000 referral bonus for our employees. Matter of fact, our employees are our single greatest advocates. So 40% of all of our new employees are people who have been referred by a current employee. On top of that, we start with 3 weeks vacation, generous time off. I think we've got 13 paid holidays in a year. A lot of great things about Rockwell, but at the end of the day, it's really the people on the floor. And then I would say the other thing is we build some really cool stuff at Rockwell. If you just see it, it looks like a big gray box, and maybe you've been in a factory and you've seen these gray boxes with all the dials and the switches. But what we build really does control water, wastewater, pumps and drives, vaccine production, clean energy. And it's really cool to think of just like the global impact that this team here in town has, right? I mean, our work is on clean energy farms. It's on oil and gas platforms. It could be in your favorite soft drinks production line, right? I will tell you two places I noticed for sure is the newer water wastewater plant. When that new utility was launched a few years back, we actually did an employee picnic at a water treatment plant because our equipment was driving all the pumps and stuff there. Also, our equipment controls the pumps for the water park here in town. So a lot of cool applications. Full transparency, I'm not an engineer, so I can't get into the details of it. But again, it's kind of what we do is really cool, and it really does. It's changing the world when you start thinking about energy production. Making manufacturers more sustainable, more productive. It's a really exciting business to be in automation.
Do your parts ship all over the world then? No?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our product ships all across the world. Many different industries. We've got different products. Rockwell has a lot of other sites around the world, and our employees have really built a reputation for being some of the most kind and knowledgeable. That a lot of our employees have traveled the world as well to go out and help train others. We really do have a pretty global impact from little old Richland Center.
Yeah, no doubt. And I had no idea that you made those products. Does that change as there's a need? In the future, other things branching out. Maybe is that a possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, the product we build in here in town around motor controls is constantly changing. In really what we build here is what we call engineered to order, meaning it's not repeatable. It really starts with somebody who has a problem. It could be a large Again, I'll use soft drink manufacturer as an example, and they may come to Rockwell and say, hey, I need to reduce my downtime on my line by 30%, and boy, if you could make me a little more sustainable while we're at it. And our engineering team will work with them to develop a solution, and that solution is actually built right here in Richland Center. So it's really about solving problems for other manufacturers, making other manufacturers more productive, or oil and gas more productive, or wind farms more productive. But it all starts with a problem, and then we find a solution. And that mentality carries over all the way to our shop floor. If I think of those 300 employees, I really do have 300 problem solvers on my shop floor who are constantly looking for ways to improve things, make things better. And again, you just kind of feel it when you're on the shop floor.
How many shifts do you work during the day?
Right now we're running 2 shifts. So we've got our first shift, which is 7 to 3:30. We've got a second shift, which is 3:30 to midnight.
Okay. And keeps you busy. Is there some overtime coming up, or how does that work?
We're nature of the business. We're always running a little bit of overtime. I think we've got some overtime right now in certain areas. And that just kind of comes with the product. Again, not being cookie cutter product. Sometimes it takes more hours. It's changes as you go. So, hey, we thought this was going to take X amount of hours. Now it's double, right? And we still have to get the order out to the customer on time because, maybe they've got a factory shut down waiting for our product. So we do work some overtime, a little bit right now for sure.
How many Rockwell plants are there?
That's a great question. I'd say it's probably over a dozen around the world. Here in Wisconsin, we actually have 4. So we've got Richland. I'm going to say 5. We've got Ladysmith, Wisconsin, Mequon, Wisconsin, Richland Center, Milwaukee, and we have a small site that I'm also responsible for in Middleton, right behind Costco. Got an exciting little team in Middleton.
So you mentioned Allen Bradley. Did Rockwell purchase it then, or how did that work?
Rockwell. I'm not going to throw dates out there at the risk of being wrong, but I think Rockwell bought the Allen Bradley brand back when it was Rockwell International back in the 80s, before it became Rockwell Automation, and then it split between Rockwell Automation and Rockwell Collins. Maybe you guys have heard of that in aerospace. They bought Allen Bradley, which of course was headquartered out of Milwaukee, and for the longest time, this was the Allen Bradley plant here in town.
There are a lot of employees that have had longevity, as you mentioned, but I know you've had some that 50 years. I mean, that's really unheard of this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely unheard of. But again, I think it's people come and they stay for the culture, they stay for the team, they stay for the coworkers, for the work, for the company. I think when you look at that longevity, it really speaks to just the experience that people have.
I know that you mentioned Grace, and you mentioned some other company things. It's amazing how employees get behind that. You guys have done some wonderful things in terms of charities for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the creativity that the employees show, a lot of it comes through food drives and soup lunches, sandwich lunches. We have a Frankfurter feast. Right, and they're always thinking of different things to raise money for the community, and it's been really awesome. Especially as we've brought newer employees in, and maybe some of the people who've been there for a while are retiring, to see that culture stay, that culture of giving, of caring in the community. Again, so kind of full circle. If you think of just even Rockwell's engagement with the chamber, it's all about. I think believing in Richland Center, wanting to make Richland Center the best place it can be, and Rockwell wants to be here, for a long time to come. We've been here for 54 years, and we want to be here for another 54.
Is there talk or anything down the road where you might expand a little bit, maybe?
So right now, yeah. So right now we are looking, just expanding in terms of headcount, employees. Sure. We've got a lot of room still, a lot of room to grow just within our 4 walls. I think a lot of companies out there are looking to expand, in the U.S. And certainly a lot of people hiring in this area, which is great for the area, and we're certainly one of them. But yeah, and our product portfolio at Rockwell is always changing. We've got some bread and butter stuff that's been here for 50 years, but we also kind of expand and contract different businesses as things come and go, because just the nature of the automation industry is always changing. So our products do kind of come and go. Right now we're expanding one product line. We're taking another product line down a little bit, and continuing to make those adjustments.
Wonderful. Good to have you on the air today.
Good to be here.
We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on at Rockwell and in the chamber as well. And we'll talk a little bit about leadership as well when we return with the morning show here on a Monday. On our morning show today, we're talking about the Richland Area Chamber of Commerce, and in the studio with us, Craig Woodhouse and Noah Kracht. We talked a little bit about the Rockwell Automation facility today as well. And Craig, I know that you've had a chance to work with them and be in that plant a few times over the years, haven't you?
Yeah. You know, it's fun to be here this morning. I was an employee of Rockwell for actually over 10 years, and interestingly, we definitely wanted to talk a little bit about leadership this morning, because I think that some of the leadership development that goes on at our workplaces in this county then transfers at some point to community leadership. And the industries such as Rockwell have done a really good job of training that formal leadership in pretty thorough ways. And then at some point, the community leadership becomes part of your career. I guess I feel that way, or that's how it worked for me. And if I can just go back in time a little bit, it's been almost 20 years now. But Noah and I both had a chance to be in a leadership development program at Rockwell, and it was pretty intensive. We had good mentors, and we had mentors and people that we talked with and learned from outside the facility and other Rockwell facilities, but also within the facility as well. And for me, my experience with that was interesting, because it started out with general leadership on the floor, in a manufacturing thing. But I got a chance to have a stint working in the HR office, which just opened up my eyes to what that world was like. And then through that whole experience, I really discovered what I really love, and that's training. And and I think Noah and I both went through that together, and Noah as well as certainly was in training as well. But I think that he was interested in kind of a supply chain path. Correct me if I'm wrong, Noah. Yeah, but Noah was definitely had the right skill set to learn more about supply chain, and he kind of went down that path, and I kind of went into a training path, if you will, and then got to do lead a bunch of training programs, and then eventually went to Southwest Tech as a corporate trainer, and Rockwell set me up well, to be successful, and to this day, that's what I do. I'm a corporate trainer and work on community development and workforce development, and consult with other counties and other technical colleges and things like that. So I bring that all the way back to Rockwell, that kind of gave me that confidence at the right time, and then so I could learn these skills kind of just a little bit at a time, and spend really about 2 years focused on that, really focused on leadership. So and then that just made sense, for me when there was a need for a chamber and some kind of economic development things. It was I joke kind of now that I'm kind of comfortable standing up in front of a crowd in any situation, and speaking or, leading, things like that. And it really was, the Rockwell that helped me with that confidence. I was in forensics and, musicals and plays and things as a kid, so I've never been totally shy about getting up on stage. But when you have to, make announcements every morning to employees about what's going on with the business, and, and sometimes you get some tough questions but that's how we learn. That's how we learn how to handle those things. So, that's something that's near and dear to me. And one thing that we're talking about at the chamber is how can we help foster the next generation of leaders, whether it's community leadership or workplace leadership or community development or, leadership in our own, hobbies and interests and, groups. Maybe it's our church council. Maybe it's 4-H or some other kind of organization we want to get involved with. There are some basic skills that are really helpful when someone kind of takes that step. So there's those things, and then I think that is something that happens in all of these industries. There's a number of people that have kind of come up through the ranks, maybe had strong technical skills, but needed to learn some of those human relation kind of skills. So we're just trying to figure out at the chamber how we can help that initiative along.
Noah, you started out not as plant manager. You worked your way up as well, which, again, Rockwell providing some opportunities there where you just don't stay in one spot if your desire is to go a little higher, right?
Yeah, no, Rockwell's been great to me. So yeah, I've been with Rockwell for 18 years. I started on the second shift, driving fork truck. There might be still a few dents in some of the some of the racking back in the warehouse from me. But Rockwell's been great. And to Craig's point, Rockwell really invests a lot in leadership. So I actually went to school to be a history teacher, and that didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. But I think in the end, I found Rockwell, and it's been a great journey. They sent me back to school for my master's degree, sponsored a few supply chain certifications, and I've had the opportunity to experience a lot of different roles within Rockwell. To Craig's point, though, it's kind of those leadership skills and thinking about how can we empower new leaders and even people who are maybe still in high school or in tech school thinking I want to be a leader. What does that look like, and how can we help them be successful with their business or at Rockwell if they so choose. But yeah, it's been an incredible journey. A lot of different roles, and the cool thing is, I've never had to leave Southwest Wisconsin. So I've worked out at Richland Center. I held a job out of Milwaukee for a little bit, but always right here from Richland Center. So it's kind of cool to be, during COVID, sitting in your basement in the hills of Richland Center, leading, sourcing recovery calls in China. It's just a really great opportunity and something you might not think of in a small town like this. But yeah, leadership, to Craig's point, has been central to my journey.
It's a good point, and I think for someone who desires that leadership position, so many think that the best jobs are an hour and a half away, a lot of driving in a day, and that's proof that you can stay right here and kind of maybe get some of those goals.
Yeah, I tell you, the best jobs, the best people, and the best community is right here, right? You're not going to find it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. The other thing is made in America. A lot of people are looking for that product made in America, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, while I have a lot of respect for our global partners at Rockwell, what I'll say about the plant here in town is our quality, our efficiency, our pride in what we do is second to none. And a lot of customers request that. We have customers that request, hey, I want this built in Richland Center. We have customers every month who are coming in who we might not even be building a product for them. They want to see how the product's built. They want to meet the people who build it. And that is such a source of value, both for our organization and for our community to have, people come into Richland Center. Last month, I had a team from a ship engine builder from Norway that came out to Richland Center, and they stayed at the White House. And they went downtown to eat, and they experienced RC, and then they come to the plant and they meet our employees. And now I can say that I am the only factory at Rockwell that they've qualified to build their equipment. It's something that, I think our employees are really proud of when we bring customers in. And certainly that, I think that the Build in America isn't just a slogan. It really speaks to the pride in the quality that our employees put in the product.
Yeah, as a worker, to have somebody come in and thank you for the job you did from the outside world, man, that has to mean a lot.
Yeah, I think we always try to find ways to get our employees in front of, whether it's leadership. I have my CFO coming tomorrow. But we try to get them in front of leadership. We try to get them in front of customers, because that is really, I think, what makes a difference here. It's not the process. It's not even the product at times. It really is meeting the people behind it. And like I said, we've got some of the greatest people. Really proud to work with that team. I'm proud to have came from that team. And it's truly amazing to see the difference they make for our customers and what they're willing to do for our customers. We've had people, they're working late. They're coming in on the weekends. They're getting creative. They're, making phone calls to get that last part in the door. It's something, that it's heroic almost in the way that they pursue, the customer satisfaction. And again, that's just a huge piece of why this plant has been here for 54 years, why it's going to be here for another 50 years, is that commitment to our customers.
We drive by there all the time. Maybe some of us kind of wonder what's going on in there. Any chance maybe there's an open house sometime in the future?
We're talking through different options right now. I know a couple of years ago we did an open house where we had friends and family come in, and it was really great. The employees could show their family, what they do, where they work, explain how the product works, seeing, everybody smiling and being excited about what they do. But yeah, we're talking through, obviously we're hiring right now. We're looking for more great people to join a great team. And looking for ways to make that happen. And, if people are interested in what we do have walk-in Wednesdays. So every Wednesday from 10 to 4, we do a hiring event. We bring people in, we'll do interviews right on the spot. As we go through the interview process, we'll do tours with them as well, so they can kind of get comfortable. They can meet the team, they can see the product, they can see the facility before they make that decision.
Employees paid well, obviously, and I think that goes back to the chamber. I mean, they're making money here. They're spending money in the hometown, and the two go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at the community and just the impact that our employees have, or that all large employers have, it's money spent right here in the community.
And you encourage employees to get involved in communities and some of the local groups, civic organizations, and things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really proud. I think from the ground floor up, we have a lot of people on our shop floor who are on different boards, who volunteer in different ways. I think most of my leadership staff is all volunteering or board members in different organizations. And then we do we have a matching gift program for all of our employees, where we'll donate money to match their time that they go out and volunteer. For our salaried employees, we actually give them time off to go out in the community and volunteer with different organizations. And it's just a huge part of who we are as a team.
Yeah, awesome. Craig, I know you made some other notes that you wanted to talk about today concerning the chamber. I think first and foremost, you want to plug your website as well, don't you?
Yeah. We absolutely encourage everyone to visit, the chamber website. We've been putting a lot of work on that, and we've got a pretty good calendar going on there. And it's also a place where you can find out about, as I said, you can submit suggestions for us, but it's also, like I said, we're building up that calendar, and we'll have things out there like those ribbon cuttings. And if I could circle back to that ribbon cutting really quickly, that has been rescheduled. I just double checked on this, and so the Richland Hospital is having a ribbon cutting March 3rd. March 3rd at 5 p.m. And so that's open to the public, and everyone is welcome. But
next week, then?
Next week, yeah. Yep. It was delayed just 1 week there. The other thing I want to remind people of that's on our website is our chamber checks. We launched a program this year in a big part because of Noah's help on that project. But we'd been looking for a kind of a gift certificate kind of / chamber card program. We explored a lot of different options over a few years, and there was always something we didn't quite like about one program or another, but we settled on a chamber check program. And those are chamber checks that can be purchased through our website or at Christie's Sunnyside. You can just go in there and pick them up. And then there's a list of the businesses that participate in the program, and you can use those basically like cash at any one of the member businesses downtown. I think it's a great, we've found it's a great way to increase spending downtown. I know that the Richland Hospital, and thank you to them for this, they purchased a big stack. I don't know how many, Noah, maybe if you remember off the top of your head. Okay, yeah, but it was, a couple hundred, and gave them out to employees. And then I saw the first report of those that had been redeemed, and it appears that the Richland Hospital employees really appreciate our Richland locker a lot, because a lot of those chamber checks went to the locker. So it was right around the holidays, so it was perfect, and I'm sure that helped. Some families get their provisions and gifts, and just fun things for the holidays, and so that was just really cool to see, because right there in the on the statement, we could literally see a couple $1,000s that was spent at a local business, specifically because of this program. And that's exciting for us. As the hospital's a chamber member, the Richland Locker is a chamber member, and it wasn't just the Richland Locker, that it was others as well, but that week they really hit it pretty hard. So yeah, we love that program, and it's been going well. So if you're curious about it, take a look at our website, or get a hold of one of us, or stop in at Christie's Sunnyside and get some more information about it. It's a really nice way to give someone a gift certificate, and then they can choose where they would like to use it. So.
Yeah, lots of choices. Yeah. So it's not just a Christmas or holiday thing. You do it year round.
We're doing it year round. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we did some, kind of a PR blitz around the holidays for it, but that's just still going on, and we'll be marketing it again. I think every quarter we really need to be just reminding people that program is out there. So yeah, we're happy, about that. We're really happy with the website, and our website's coming along, and it's becoming a tool for us. It's improved a lot, and it's getting better every week. I was asked last week where the best place for a community calendar is, and I said, well, WRCO's got a good one, and the Chamber has theirs going, and and we do get asked that from time to time. Is there a central calendar for events in the community? And I tell I've been telling people the Chamber is going to be more focused on the Chamber events. There will be things that we're not aware of, that come along. So I refer people to both of them, and certainly the WRCO community calendar is probably the most comprehensive one, and so we're happy for that, and we ourselves refer to that one quite a bit.
It gets fuller and fuller now as the weather gets a little bit better, and we're getting into maybe some spring things that
yeah. It starts to get fun or more interesting when there are multiple things going on the same day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people may see that as a conflict. I don't. I see that as options. I see it as options, because we all have different interests, of course, and we're not all going to attend the same things. So, but you'll see that, starting now, and you'll just all sorts of spring announcements are going to start popping up here, and we're excited for that season.
The Chamber year is being planned. You're looking at wine walks and night markets and those kind of things for the coming year.
We are. We're still making some final decisions on some of those items. The night markets, although successful, there are some things that we'd like to do a little differently. We think we can do, make that even a better event. So I don't want to get ahead of myself here too much, but we are talking with the farmers market, and is there a way to partner with this regular Richland farmers market? So we're asking questions like, is the location that we're using really the best location? We like it for a lot of reasons, but it's, it may not be the easiest place to get in and out of if, I'm buying 2 watermelons and it's a, 100-degree day in August, and, the parking can be a little bit tricky there. So, we're just really, collecting feedback from the community and from the farmers market and our own observations, and soon we'll, there will be markets, but that information will come out soon. But right now it's the work. We're doing the work to figure out what's the best way to serve the community.
Are you still doing the coffee with the Chamber events? Are you going to be doing those?
We're not. We're not doing the coffee with the Chamber events. That was something that we started during COVID, and I feel like it kind of ran its course. It served a function well for a couple of years there. And participation just started to dwindle a little bit. It was 7 a.m. in the morning, and we have some folks that like that time slot, but it was difficult for parents of school kids, for example. But we are looking at other ways to engage in community and training, kind of topics. So that also will be, I think by March, we'll kind of have that figured out and what we want to do for educational kind of events or training things, or social hours as well. So, again, stay tuned to our social media or our website or here on WRCO to find out about those things that'll be coming up, like chamber after fives and ribbon cuttings and things like that.
Wonderful. Good to have you guys in here today. Anything else either of you would like to add here this morning? Or we covered it pretty well?
Well, I think we've covered things pretty well here. I just want to, if I could, Phil, I just want to really take the time to thank NOAA for being here today and thanking really all of our industries. They're the fabric of our town, and when the employees at those places are doing well, it helps our businesses and helps all of those community conditions. And I know how hard some folks are working in places like that. And I would just echo everything that NOAA has said this morning as well about Rockwell. Knowing that business, a little bit myself, there are people there that are just so unique, and I mean that in the way that they're problem solvers, and they're, it's not just standing at a line. They're working hard and solving problems. So thanks to Rockwell employees and everyone else.
Kind of rolling with the flow, Noah.
Yeah, maybe one final plug. We are hiring,
right?
So if you're interested in doing great things and being our next problem solver, we do have walk-in Wednesdays every Wednesday from 10 to 4, or you can go to rockautomation.com and apply online.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Richland Area Chamber, Noah Kroc from Rockwell Automation, plant manager, and Craig Woodhouse from the Chamber here in Richland Center on today's morning show.